Welcome back, hot dogs. Y'all already know what time it is. Wake and bake for a Super Saturday. Shouts out to your boy Spider Pig. We ready to get it in. Let me see what that look like. Shot in frame. Bring y'all up close. Yeah, there you go. Not too much. That's a double joke for those paying attention. Y'all got my haircut. Shouts out to running that bald fade for a minute. You know what I'm saying? We just ain't cutting it off. Then when it grow back in, we'll pick a style one of these days. In other words, it'll be available on the buy me a coffee, buy me a haircut, right? I'll go to the barbershop one day, but I hear they're expensive, like $80, $90 to get a fade, which makes no sense. Hourly rates is horrible. Look how it always does it. It wants to take forever to get back in chat, but it'll be all right. Shouts out to being all right. But y'all already know we finna go. Get your hands up! 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 Everybody raise your hand! Everybody raise your hand! Get your hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Let's go! Checking out the video sponsor DJ Williams live from last night. I was over there. If you go watch the replay your damn self. But I'm making sure I got my chat ready before I sit down and get ready to get this video started. Get your hands up! 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 Everybody raise your hand! Everybody raise your hand! Get your hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Let's go! All right. Let's get going. It's 7 minutes into the video. I had to go use the restroom before I got started though, you know. So I got y'all checking out the video sponsor. Shout out to the 9 people, the 6 thumbs up. We're gonna hit the clip button and then we're gonna flip it back to us, right? Welcome back. Let's get ready to do our transition. Y'all know we got stuff to talk about. So the good thing is today, I'm going to remember before I start that video to start up OBS and record this for Rumble. Shouts out to the Rumble. Y'all know it's TWP over there. Get your hands up! Everybody raise your hand! Everybody raise your hand! Get your hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Welcome back, hot dogs. It's your boy Spider here with another Super Saturday. Let's get straight to some videos.
Mystery characters. That's what I want to know. Are they all demons? Are they other members, other gods that we haven't been introduced to, new characters? Remember what I said in the previous video? Not every demon in the demon realm is evil. It doesn't work that way. It's almost like there's good and evil people down there. So we'll be talking a lot about that because I'm genuinely wondering where this is going to go. So the booth will be there, and so will some merchandise. As of right now, this is supposed to be the place where the next trailer is going to come out for Dragon Ball Daima. However, because if you remember, I said it's going to be July, but with Victory Carnival being a week before, we may get it there. And it's also possible that there's going to be an English dub trailer coming out very soon as well. I'm not certain. I'm not.
Bardock, the father of Goku, for a long time was always up there in strange popularity with the legendary Super Saiyan Broly, Gogeta, Cooler, and all the other heavy hitters from the movie universes when it came down to the Dragon Ball fandom. Always being featured prominently in video games over many others for a long time, and even getting his own constructive stories that would make Raditz a bit jealous. He always was incredibly popular, with him getting many spin-off power-ups and crazy forms, such as him getting sent back in time from Frieza's supernova to fight Frieza's ancestor Chilled, and becoming a Super Saiyan to fight him. And I'm not joking, that's actually what literally happened. He got sent back in time and fought Frieza's ancestor as the original Super Saiyan. Or becoming a masked timeline-slaying demon henchman named Timebreaker Bardock, which used to be my old avatar, and he's gotten a lot of alternate media and attention outside of the main story, but he has almost never gotten any main timeline respect outside of one little manga panel in the Frieza saga of him battered and beaten, facing off against Frieza alone at the extinction of the Saiyan race, until now in Dragon Ball Super, with Dragon Ball Minus, Dragon Ball Super Broly, and Dragon Ball Super's manga sort of expanding what we actually know about him, especially in the manga version, where we finally can look into the soul of Bardock and what makes him tick as a person and fighter for really the first time in canon ever, and basically learning this is where Goku got those hands from.
That's why it's the last
For
one,
the
right?
longest time, Bardock's main appearance and power
Get
set
some
was
facts
from what
on
we learned
Bardock,
in the
though.
Bardock
Shout out to
Father
the
of Goku
chin
special,
line. That
released all the
motherfucker
way
look
back in
in that light.
1990, with this depiction even being the version we saw in Frieza's one-panel flashback. During this special, we learned that even though Bardock is a low-class fighter, he can take on Frieza's elites, and is notoriously noted for having a power level of approaching 10,000. This level of 10,000 is pretty much spammed in every single piece of material showing him ever since, and sort of became his official or unofficial fandom number. Even in the more modern Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, his power level of 10,000 is noted, making him able to basically destroy Nappa and base Saiyan Saga Goku at the same time, and basically in one hit. But not enough for him to take on the likes of Prince Vegeta. And this is interesting since Nappa is considered a mid-class Saiyan in most modern material, and even an elite in some older translations. Although nowadays an Elite Saiyan only applies to King and Prince Vegeta, with it possibly applying to Gohan in some guides, and definitely, though unofficially, to Broly. This Elite concept for Nappa was amended with Vegeta being a Super Elite for most of the time, with Bardock never reaching the level of a mid-class Saiyan, which even Raditz apparently allegedly did, with Raditz being stated to move up to the level of Nappa in an interview. It is also stated Saiyans could become mid-class or upgrade depending on what they actually do or can accomplish. So Bardock having a power level of 10,000 made things sort of confusing, with whether a Saiyan's birth made them their class or their current strength. And movies such as Tree of Might, which featured Goku at a power level of over 30,000 alongside Turles, and them saying they are still low-class Saiyans, also made it more confusing back in the day. I go over all of this in my Ranking Saiyans video in much more detail, which I'm sure you guys would enjoy a lot. Regardless, this made many people question if the new minus Bardock would actually end up being even weaker than Raditz, or being nowhere near what he was before due to the possibly updated class system, as if Raditz could move up a class and Bardock is just perpetually a low-class Saiyan, then, you do the math. This leads us to the present, or the Granola arc of Dragon Ball Super, where we see Bardock face off against Gas many decades ago. So this is where my interpretation is really going to get involved here. So I will try to be as open-minded on this as possible, but Bardock is either unquantifiable in strength or very absurdly powerful for this time frame, and I'll let you guys see if you agree with my interpretation. This line of scaling in question begins in Dragon Ball Super's manga on chapter 82, which we actually don't learn until its end. It's called Bardock versus Gas. And during this chapter, we get many interesting parallels and themes of cycles and fatalism within the Dragon Ball world that we haven't really explored much before up to this point. Fate has never really been that big of a deal. Fate being the overarching force named at the start of the arc that brought all three of Goku, Vegeta, and Granola to begin with. You'll remember that in the old days that Bardock actually used to see Fate, or more specifically had the ability to see the future and was very involved with Fate and would talk about Fate. And this new canonized version of Bardock also deals with
what up? Yeah, a lot of people in the house. Appreciate that. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up on your way out.
Which his will and desires transferred to Goku and his family, especially through the use of the Dragon Balls at the end of the arc, as controversial as it is. The first sign of this is just by the raw way Bardock fights, and in this chapter, specifically, notice the uppercut he delivers to Gas, which is almost identical to Super Saiyan Goku versus Frieza. Super Saiyan Goku and Bardock have a ton of things to go into, with Super Saiyan Goku being almost the conclusion of Bardock's fate and decisions, which makes it very fitting that the hands Goku threw were symbolically similar to how actually Bardock would have fought Frieza in that same situation. During Chapter 82, it's just one uppercut, but I'll go over the many more examples as they appear, and how they may apply to not just Goku, but actually Gohan as well. And perhaps something even more further and intrinsic, such as an instinct that all of Bardock's line would actually inherit if they dive deep enough into themselves. Regardless, though, just Bardock throwing hands with base Gas normally actually convinces Gas that Bardock was a powerful fighter and that they were perhaps wrong that only low-class fighters were actually sent to the planet. This may be indicative that Bardock, at the very least, had a hidden battle prowess about him that he doesn't really care to brag about or doesn't tell anyone, or his true powers come out in life and death combat one-on-one situations that aren't normally calculable or seeable through a generic scouter reading. What's weird, though, is that Gas actually makes this judgment on Bardock's status very calmly, as an entire combo Bardock throws at him doesn't even damage or scratch him whatsoever, showing that Gas not only believes he is above low-class Saiyans by a high degree, but above possibly even mid-class, to the point that them not even being able to scratch him doesn't shock him whatsoever. Meaning fighters such as Raditz and potentially Nappa wouldn't even damage Gas at all. In Chapter 83, Bardock vs. Gas 2, Bardock throws more combos and Gas just powers up slightly, as Gas has the ability to suppress his battle power, a fact that only interests and actually excites Bardock further. It's also stated that Gas is far from full power, something that should probably be noted as probably less than even half, more akin to Frieza toying around with Goku when they first started fighting, as usually fighters at half power are more serious or threatened. Also, far from full power might be a bit of an exaggeration if you're using over half of it, or 70% or something like that. This is important as Gas was already not trying before he powered up to a state far from full power, which he thought a mid-class Saiyan couldn't even scratch. During this chapter, Bardock also shows a classic Dragon Ball resistance to forced BFR, or battlefield removal, by the 2-ball Shenron Tarambo, and Tarambo is probably weaker than Earth's Shenron, as Monaito is known to have a power level even less than King Piccolo, at least in present times, with Bardock measuring Monaito's power level to be 213 when serious. This is even less than post-time skip Saiyan Saga Kami, who many don't know actually got weaker, was at 220 in V-Jump, which made him less than 22nd and 23rd Budokai Kami, who could easily flick away while not even trying a Goku stronger than King Piccolo, who had a power level of 260. This means that characters weaker than a power level of 213, and probably even weaker than Bardock in general, can't teleport him places against his will. This is a very underestimated and under-talked about hacks that Saiyans possess that I actually quite appreciate. This would basically apply to characters, say, such as Naruto, Sasuke, Uchiha as an example, where he possesses an ability where he can use his eye to teleport or switch objects with himself and another person or whatever. If you believe Sasuke is weaker than Bardock, then he could never teleport Bardock around with these Renegon eye abilities or something like that. Of course, this is only if you believe that Sasuke is weaker than Bardock, but this video is not about that. That is just an example, hypothetically. Eventually, after much more fighting and Gas getting more serious, Bardock says a Saiyan would rather die than run from an enemy, and this is exactly what Super Saiyan Goku does against Frieza on Namek, where Goku would rather defeat Frieza and then explode than just run away and fight him another day. This is an ingrained instinct that Bardock actually passed down to him, that Bardock is trying to teach the older Goku to keep in his heart, which eventually allows him to awaken his own instincts. As even in Original Z, Goku only used that level of Saiyan instinct one time, very obviously. Even though Gas is way stronger than Bardock, at least in Chapter 83, he wishes to fight him until he wins. Even Bardock getting slammed around in the scene is just like Goku getting slammed around by Grandpa Gohan, where Gas is basically using Bardock's tail to fling him around, just as Grandpa Gohan used to fling Goku around by his tail. However, unlike Goku, Bardock has trained his tail, and has honed his instinct, and is a true Saiyan warrior, unlike Goku at the time. It's at this point that Gas goes berserk, super power mode, and Bardock drops one of the coldest lines in the whole series. What sort of idiot would think about anything less than victory and a life and death battle? After this happens, it is described by Gas that Bardock is in a state other than Great Ape. Something or some type of change has greatly influenced his battle power, akin to a boost or a type of transformation, which is why I called this video Instinct Bardock, as it doesn't have an official name, but it's even described by another wise combatant in the series that even has the ability to suppress his battle power, which, if you remember, Captain Ginyu being able to do that was noted as an impressive scenario, and even notes that Goku being able to do it is advanced. So Gas, with an advanced perception on the series and combatants and able to transform himself, calls it a transformation or a state other than Great Ape, or implies it to be such. So that's why I called it Instinct Bardock. You guys can call it whatever you want, Saiyan Instinct or whatever fan-made term. I think Instinct is fun. Gas also then drops this line, which is he says that he represents a limit that no Saiyan could ever surpass. This is a pretty important line and is what kind of shaped my opinion about what I'm about to get into here, as even suppressed Gas thought he could mop mid-class Saiyans, and now he's just flat out saying that no Saiyan could ever reach his level, period. On Namek, we learned that Saiyans being at a power level of around 30,000 is still within their expectations a bit of the Frieza Force, with 30,000 being considered around peak Saiyan level, or the Vegeta that kind of got squashed by Raccoon. When Saiyans start to reach a power of 40,000, it then starts to be considered absurd, and a power level of 60,000 is considered actually a level of mutant by Captain Ginyu and Jace, in which all of the Ginyu Force are considered mutants of their species that have abnormally high power levels, so 60,000 would be sort of a Ginyu Force mutant-esque Saiyan power level, with the narrator then saying Goku was surpassing what Saiyans were even supposed to be capable of before he even landed, with him landing with a power level of 90,000. Considering the Saiyans went extinct a long time ago, I do believe the Ginyu Force is saying 30 to 50,000 should probably be where a peak Saiyan or a peak Saiyan's potential should really be, even then, that being absurd. And if Gas holds a similar belief, then he too is probably over this level, probably above the 50 to 60,000 range when rampaging or similar to. This is, of course, even worse if you think Gas is talking about Great Apes included, which would then, of course, be into the hundreds of thousands, as Saiyans going to be over a level of 10,000 in base, and Great Apes canonically increase your battle power by 10 times. It's even worse when you consider some Saiyans can do it manually. They can actually create their own moons and do it. This conclusion is even further supported when you actually read into Toyotaro's statement and opinions about the strength of the Heaters and characters before Gas and Granola wished to be the strongest in the universe, in which he compares them more to Abo and Kato from the Yo, Son Goku and his friends return special. Abo and Kato are commonly compared to Frieza and face off against a rusty Goten and Trunks with their multi-form techniques. The Frieza they would be being compared to is probably base Namek Frieza, who had a power level of 530,000, as Frieza being able to transform was a strange concept that really only Zarbon knew, Zarbon being one of Frieza's closest generals, who probably was told by Frieza he could transform after showing Frieza his true form himself, and this also shocks Vegeta, and was clearly secret knowledge. It is implied that Captain Ginyu also was aware in the anime version, at least, but you get the idea. Anyway, Toyotaro basically says he thinks the Heaters are above the likes of Nappa and them, and are more like in the range of the Ginyu Force or Abo and Kato before they wish to be the strongest in the universe. This is a pretty interesting comparison, and I think this is actually intentional when you look at the line of scaling I presented earlier, and while Toyotaro is talking about a post-time skip many decades later version of the Heaters, I don't think it's contradictory for Instinct Bardock or Berserk Gas to be that strong based on how they talk and how strong they are all later. Also, I do just want to say this, Toyotaro, as much as I love the guy, he does straight up just read the series, take inspiration from itself, making many cameos and many references to other parts of the series, such as Fusion Zamasu making Perfect Cell Scene, Moro taking a lot of iconography and things from his series I went over in many videos before. Toyotaro likes to reread the series and reference it, and throughout the entire Granola arc, especially at certain points, he is just straight up referencing the Namek and Frieza sagas. It is a direct parallel, especially with Bardock supposing to throw hands just like Super Saiyan Goku, which is the point. It then makes you wonder, him referencing above Nappa Nappa and being Ginyu Force level, and then saying lines that the Ginyu Force also say about Goku's power, it has to be somewhat inspired. But what do you guys actually think? I mean, it is just my opinion, but I do think that is the case. This fight then ends with Bardock doing an enraged Kamehameha Super Saiyan Goku pose on Gas, with his spirit and instinct then passing on to Goku after he uses the Dragon Balls to be unleashed to avenge their race in totality. He then even passes out from his one-handed attack, just like Gohan versus Cell. Bardock has won and defeated a force that is beyond what all Saiyans are capable of. Anyways, guys, that is the current opinion I hold.
Bardock was pretty strong. Pretty strong.
Surprise. You want peace? Let us be. Silence! Silence!
Oh, the stink is in the house. What do you say?
Had you been practicing on your art, you know your way in the dark. Silence!
Allow me to demonstrate our skills.
Silence. This is what happened last week with Gohan versus Beerus. Yeah, Gohan versus Beerus. He getting active out here. Shouts out to Emily. Y'all know to go check out his channel. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up though. Shouts out to our other videos.
Where are you? In the bustling city of Neutreville, a group of extraordinary individuals has emerged, known far and wide as the Superfood Parents. They are on a mission to transform their families' lives through the power of nutrition, one delicious bite at a time. Meet Chef Laurkita Marie, the culinary mastermind behind the Superfood Parents playbook. With boundless enthusiasm, she welcomes you to embark on a thrilling journey to becoming a true superfood hero. But what exactly does that mean? In Neutreville, superfood parents are everyday heroes. These superfood parents lead the charge for better health, but not with capes. They lead with carrots, and whole food fats like avocados. And instead of masks, they lead with mangoes and berries. Fruits and vegetables are the disease-destroying arsenal of heroes. Are you a disease destroyer superhero for your loved ones? Fruits and veggies fuel the mission of heroes like Veggie Vixen. Are you a Veggie Vixen for your loved ones? Dedicated to ensuring their loved ones thrive on a diet rich in faves, fruits and vegetables. Here's your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to guide your family to superhero status by reaching the highest levels of health and wellness daily. Become a plant-powered titan, a superfood avenger, or even a face crusader by earning 5 points for every fruit or vegetable eaten. It's a fun-filled quest where nutrition meets excitement. All of the digital details are at superfoodparents.com for the full experience. Superfood Parents has also created workbooks, where you'll discover the tools you need for success. These workbooks give you the heroic strategies to craft your grocery list like a seasoned hero. Which means you now have a playbook to even track your weekly meals like a true champion. And engage in mind-bending nutritional education with word searches that will keep your family entertained and informed. So, are you ready to join the ranks of the Superfood Parents? Are you prepared to unleash the power of face and make every meal a heroic endeavor? If so, flip the page of the Superfood Playbook and let's begin your journey to becoming the ultimate superfood hero.
To become a sponsor, just visit superfoodparents.com.
Kickoff.
Went on to then respond, well, it was as I thought, which only now means that with the same Warriors...
Use Patreon for exclusive manga content and early access. Isn't that right, Sim?
I already joined his Patreon today. Tons of great stuff on there, actually. But did you really have to blow up the city?
Yes.
Blew up the domino. You blew up the domino, and you're laughing. Do you realize the f***ing crisis here?
And you will be next. Unless you subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications right now.
Or else what? You'll aggressively scream another man's name for several hours?
Kakarot!
He said Kakarot means peace. What?
I will say that this was honestly the only other way out of such a dangerous situation, especially if our heroes were hoping to walk away from battling Lord Grizzlore in one piece. But now that the odds have seemingly evened out for our heroes to have a fighting chance, if they don't take this moment to go and find a way out by defeating Lord Grizzlore here and now, then I'm afraid that all of their efforts will be lost, as they will each perish by the very end.
story now continues following the initial events of Goku and Vegeta being shown having to fuse in attempts of having to save Broly and also going as far as to stop Lord Grizzlore, as with Gogeta now having to be shown redirecting his focus in addressing Broly before having to battle Grizzlore was when Gogeta then went on to quickly respond. Now listen to me, while I know that the rage that burns within you is immense, I need you to focus because this isn't a battle that we can afford to lose, especially not now, and so I need you to try and go and control your emotions and stabilize your power, because there are many who are counting on you to fight with purpose here, and that includes both Shilai and Lemmo as well, Gogeta says. For Lord Grizzlore is a threat that is unlike any other, with his power being unlike anything that we've ever encountered in battle before, and so I'll need you to go and listen, Broly, for it was like I had mentioned to you before, because even though you and I aren't really known for having a passive history with one another, if you continue to lose control and if you become a danger to our mission, Gogeta continues, then you will leave me with no other choice than to deal with you myself, and you can make no mistake about the fact that I will finish you, because although I truly don't want to go as far as to fight you, I'll do whatever I must to ensure that we can face Lord Grizzlore without the threat of your uncontrolled power getting in the way. And so with that said, you have been warned, Broly, and now back to you, Gogeta went on to then turn towards Grizzlore, because while I acknowledge your power as being nothing short of monstrous, Kakarot and Vegeta's fusion, on the other hand, brings together two of Universe 7's most powerful mortal warriors and magnifies their power far beyond where it once was, Gogeta says. For we will now go and ensure you that even a god of destruction such as yourself can also be challenged by mere mortals such as us in battle too. And while we don't have all of the time in the world to be wasting just standing around here talking to you, Gogeta says, what do you say we just go and skip the warm-up here and jump right into the action, since that's why
Bear tough out here in the streets.
Yes, now this is more like it, because now we're talking. But let me ask you something. Do you honestly think that your fusion makes you as invincible as you think that it does? Because you certainly wouldn't be the first fusion that I've went to war with against, but you just might actually be the last, for I relish at the challenge that you present. fusion, as it's been a very long time since I felt so alive like this, for I will savor every moment of this battle, along with every cry of pain and every drop of blood that I can, in knowing that I was able to obliterate Beerus's absolute best, and by doing it all by myself. So prepare yourself, Fusion, for this battle is going to be unlike anything that you've ever experienced before, as I will go on to show you the true meaning of terror along with the true power of a god of destruction.
I mean, look at him. He over here all flexing, taking up the whole panel with just the aura. Really? Gogeta over here like, all right, son, look at it. He ain't even scared yet. He ain't even powered up yet. He said, I'm still in base. You talking all that shit, go ahead, show me something. He said, boo, there you go. Let's see what he gonna do.
The likes of which is feared by so many, including by your very own destroyer back home, mortals. And so now don't say that I didn't warn you that this would go and happen, because first I will ensure that you see, and then I will ensure that you are all destroyed. So for your sake, I hope that you were able to back up the things that you had mentioned, because I most certainly can say it. And to which it was only then seconds later as Lord Grizzlore was then shown powering up with fury and rage behind his intentions was when Angel Generator then went on to chime in. Now I see, for I do believe that in order for Lord Grizzlore to be showing going this far and exerting all of his power on the surface to face off against the mortal fusion, would it only mean that Lord Grizzlore recognizes the threat of their fusion and is also looking to respond accordingly as the end result of their battle is to come, with Gogeta then having to respond incredible, and so it's looking like he's ready to go all out against me, since he more than likely now knows that this is going to be the real deal from here on, and if that's going to be the case, and if he's planning to go all out against us, then we might as well just go and do the same, to which as soon as Gogeta was then shown having to jump from his base level all the way to Super Saiyan Blue, it had only become fairly evident now that both Grizzlore and Gogeta were looking to go all out from the very beginning, as Angel Generator then went on to respond. Amazing, what an unbelievably astonishing battle power, as the fusion's transformation has brought forth a level of strength that I certainly did not anticipate would come from them, as their energy signature is unlike anything that I've seen come from these mortals before, and because if what I'm sensing that's coming from them were to be true, then it would seem as though their fusion truly may be able to contend with Lord Grizzlore's.
Yeah, the boy pulled out Super Saiyan Blue. You see what I'm saying? He said, all right, you know, we fuse, we can just go ahead and run the game we know together, you know what I'm saying? Super Saiyan Blue, you know, you got Ultra Instinct, then you got, but you're going to get Blue for now. You see what I'm saying? He said later on in the future of the series, it's going to be cracking with them combined energies y'all want to see. But, you know, for right now, yeah, build up the hype.
Overwhelming might in battle after all, but although it's still far too early to tell, this here only now begs one very important question that remains, and that is which one of them will truly remain by the very end? Will it be Lord Grizzlore who will stand victorious over the Saiyans, or will it be the fusion who will shockingly prevail over Universe?
Oh, and by the way, leave the negative comments in the bottom because we accept those. You know, appreciate all support.
Because now I can't help but wonder on what the result of this will be. To which, in the meantime, back on over onto the battlefield, as Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta was shown having to unleash a fury of attack. With Lord Grizzlore showed shielding himself was when Gogeta then went on to quickly respond. It was a mistake to have continued to go through with this, especially since we tried to reason with you the first time, but now that we are at our strongest, it's time for you to go and see as to what Universe 7's mightiest are really all. It's time for you to go and experience firsthand on what Universe 7's mightiest warriors are really made of, Destroyer. Now this is more like it's saying, and here I thought that I would have burned both of you to the ground by now, but I guess I was wrong to have taken it easy on you when I did, but make no mistake about it, you won't be the last man standing in the end, Grizzlore says. In which with Grizzlore then shown having to attempt to bite down on Gogeta, with Gogeta quickly shown having to lean out of the way, was when Gogeta then went on to respond, surprised by my power, aren't you? For I told you that this wasn't going to be as easy to deal with as it was when you faced off against Kakarot and Vegeta alone. But while I've went and faced many powerful foes in my time while separated before, there have only been a very few whom I've seen that were able to match our level of destruction and aggression in Battle Destroyer, but in the end it'll be your hyper-aggression and unstable nature that will ultimately be your undoing. And while you claim that we were the ones who were responsible for disrupting your plans to hibernate, since you seem to already be starving, then why don't you go and just eat them? But then, it was only from out of nowhere just before Gogeta even had the opportunity to finish his sentence, was where Universe 17's God of Destruction Grizzlore had taken it upon himself to grab onto Gogeta's leg, and from there having to be shown slamming Gogeta down on the ground, with Grizzlore then having to respond, "Enough of this, puny mortal! For let this serve as yet being another reminder among many more that I have in store for you in knowing who and what you are going up against here, Saiyan. And so just because you were seemingly met with overwhelming odds and had overcome them in your universe before, it doesn't inherently mean that you'll be going and doing the same here in my universe, mortal. And so whether you've merged together into becoming one singular fighter or not, you won't be so lucky to escape me once I start to devour you little by little, Saiyan." But then, it was only just upon with Grizzlore shown slamming Gogeta around with Broly quickly shown making his way towards Grizzlore was when Angel Jinbei then went on to chime back in. Oh, and there goes the wild card throughout this entire ordeal, for Broly's presence in this
says Broly on the damn thumbnail. Y'all thought he wasn't gonna be active? Y'all thought he wasn't gonna be active? That's Broly. Watch him.
Driven by his instincts to survive is what essentially makes Broly a significant variable in this battle, as well as also being an extremely dangerous one if this continues. But I am curious, however, in essentially being able to understand and seeing as to where Broly will stand if either one of them are able to push Lord Grizzlore off to the sidelines for a brief moment, because given from what I have seen,
his ass though, got him all on the ground.
I honestly don't think that he will ultimately align himself in standing with the fusion, but instead, and I do believe that given whatever history that these two
boy said, "Hold on, I felt that one."
Broly then went on to look on up by turning his head, will it not only be the trigger point in what will drive the Brood in turning against his fusion ally, but I do believe that this itself will now spark a new conflict between them, enforcing both parties to be placed against one another and finally settling the score between them. Hey, whoa, just wait a minute down there. We aren't fighting against you throughout all of this, Gogeta went on to then plead with Broly, and so therefore we are not your enemy, Broly. So just try to calm down, because I really don't want to go and fight you, let alone even go as far as to hurt you. And so you've got to just take a second to hear me out and know that I am on your side in this fight. But it was already too late, because as soon as Broly was from there shown dashing right towards the sky with Grizzlore then shown having to sit back up, was when Angel Jinbei went on to then respond, "Well, it was as I thought," which only now means that with the same warriors now at war with each other, would it only go as far as to ensure Lord Grizzlore further victory against them, for this could ultimately be the greatest moments that he will have in catching them both when they aren't looking above, as I can't seem to help but wonder as to how this will go, to which as Broly was then seen attacking Gogeta with Gogeta showing to put up his guard, was when Gogeta then went on to quickly respond, "Oh no, Broly, stop this madness and just try to listen. This is not the time for us to be fighting one another like this, for your attacks are putting all of us at risk here, and if you don't stop, then you will leave me with no other choice but to put an end to your rampage myself, and so I need you to focus, Broly." But with Broly now beginning to show no signs of having to stop, but instead having to continuously attack Gogeta, was when Gogeta then went on to continue, "Oh shoot, it's no use. And with our attention redirected, there's no telling on what that God of Destruction is planning down there. And so therefore I am now left with no other option than to quickly engage if we hope to make it out of this in one piece." Alright, now you've got my attention, Gogeta went on to then dodge one of Broly's attacks, because since I tried reasoning with you earlier by reminding you of what would go and happen if you went and did this, since you aren't going to listen, then I am going to force you to to listen whether you want to or not, Broly. So you puny little mortal rodents want to go and play a little rough, huh? Grizzle responds, well, okay, let's play rough then. So here, one for each of you, so that way we can keep this as fair as possible. Grizzlore went on to then spawn 2 Hakai orbs in his arms. And so now this is what you universal intruders get for coming into my universe and attempting to call the shots around here when I'm the boss. And so now this ought to fry the both of you enough to be consumed, and I can't wait because I can already start to smell the taste of your flesh after giving you a good burn. Now here's to you both, Grizzlore went on to then fire up above, as I could go and care less on which one of you I were to destroy first, as I promised you both that you would lose, and that is exactly what is about to go and happen. Wait a second, and just what are those? Gogeta went on to then stop one of Broly's punches by having to look on down. Oh no, they're completely dense and extremely void, which means that God of Destruction is going for broke by trying to shred us both down to our very atom, and so I just can't continue to engage here without having to hurry and try to put a stop to this before it's too late. Damn it, and so now hurry and get out of the way now before those
already
blasts
too
are able to
late,
make
right?
contact with us. Gogeta then went on to push Broly out of the way, and so I've got to go and act fast because with no time left for me to spare, it'll all come down to this, and so I'm hoping that this works. So here goes. Punish your shield! And seconds later, within that moment, as soon as Grizzlore's attack had made contact with Gogeta's Punisher shield and creating a massive blast above, was when Angel Jin really went on to respond.
defense sounds
You know, I must
awesome.
admit that I
Punisher
truly
shield,
didn't
come on
expect
now.
to watch this battle turn out the way that it has thus far.
No deal.
Especially when considering whom those mortals are going up against at the moment. But what I wasn't expecting to watch unfold was seeing the way these mortal warriors continuously try and find an escape method against Lord Grizzlore, more so when they all should have been destroyed far earlier than they have, and so I wonder what this means as Gogeta went on to chime in. Well, that was an extremely close one just now, but if I didn't go and throw that shield up in time, then that more than likely wouldn't have ended up good for either of us up here. But wait, there was a second attack just now, and so could that mean... Oh no, it does! Gogeta went on to then glance on over by seeing Broly struggle with the second attack, as he's struggling to keep the attack from consuming him over there, but why isn't Broly trying to blast the attack away or do anything of the sorts to move it away unless... No, he wouldn't. But indeed Broly did, because as soon as Broly was from there shown out of rage, having to redirect Grizzlore's attack right towards Gogeta, was when Gogeta then went on to continue. Wait, no, what are you doing? We aren't your enemies here, Broly. Oh, damn it. It's heading right for me, and so just great. Oh, this is bad. And since Broly doesn't appear to be remembering what it was that I told him, but appears to be solely acting off of his instinct and likely his memory off of our battle from before, there's just no way of getting through to him like this. And with our power seemingly being dead even with Lord Grizzlore, as Gogeta continues, as long as Broly continues to get in the way of our mission to defeat Lord Grizzlore, then we're stuck.
With the high power.
There's no use, Gogeta continues. His attack is way too strong for me to hold out on after dealing with the first attack, and with the amount of force behind Broly's throw and helping push Lord Grizzlore's attack straight into me, I didn't think that I'd have to go and try this, but if I don't go and do something right now, then it's all over. And so whatever happens now, I've got to place my faith within my ability to be able to pull this off, and so it's all or nothing. And so whatever happens now, I've got to place my faith within my ability to pull this off, and so it's all or nothing. But then, it was only just with Gogeta being overwhelmed by Grizzlore's massive attack, with Broly then shown having to blast into Grizzlore's own attack, was when Grizzlore then went on to chime in. Well, would you look at that? For it would seem as though your so-called ally still can't appear to distinguish friend from foe, which is exactly what I was hoping to have happen between you both. And so, now that one of your very own is occupying you for me and having to garner your attention in the meantime, you just went and made my job that much easier for me, and you didn't even realize it, mortal. Well, too bad, because it's your grave up there and not mine, Grizzlore went on to then clench his fist, which it was only then as Grizzlore was shown having to do so with the massive explosion then being shown taking place up above him in the sky was when Angel Jinray went on to then chime in. Well, what an incredibly massive and dangerously powerful collision, for typically if this was anyone else, and the fight between them wouldn't have came close in having it last for as long as it was shown lasting out there, but did it work on them is the question. I wonder now, because even though Lord Grizzlore's energy of destruction attacks are unparalleled by its very nature, I can't help but shake this feeling of uncertainty that I have, because I know that Lord Grizzlore can also sense something strange that is coming from above him as well, for the fusion's power has suddenly gone cold and disappearing without a trace, and so was Lord Grizzlore successful in eliminating the fusion altogether just now, or is the fusion up to something far more sinister up there, for I can't help but wonder on if this is a part of a much larger strategy on the fusion's end, or if Lord Grizzlore's attack had truly done what it was needed to do in eliminating them, and so I wonder as to which one it is, to which as soon as Broly was then shown having to emerge from the smoke and having to dash down towards Grizzlore was when Angel Jinray then went on to continue. But of course, and while I knew that the monster Broly would still remain intact, only now appearing to be far more enraged than how he was shown being before, from what it looks like based on what I'm now beginning to sense, it would appear as though the fusion is not only alive up there, but what is this sensation that I feel that is coming from them, Jinray questions, for their energy appears to be growing stronger and stronger, and so what could he be planning up there? Unless, wait, is it possible that they are about to reveal the unthinkable against Grizzlore? For if one of them is already able to wield it, then certainly that would imply that their fusion would be able to wield it too, but can it really be done? Because if what I suspect to be coming from within that dust cloud up there are to be true, then I'm afraid the odds that were previously shown being stacked in Lord Grizzlore's favor will no longer be at play moving forward if this were to be true, as it was only right then and there now during that moment where the Beyond Dragon Ball Super story of the resurrected fallen gods of destruction, the Universe 17 saga, manga chapter number 8 special then comes to a close. Hey, what's up everybody? I look like shit right now, but I wanted to give you guys a quick little update as to the chapter that you all have just seen go down, and to kind of give you a little bit of information moving forward as to why I did what I did. Now,
bro dropped the update on your last watch.
Grizzlore would assume that Gogeta Blue would be enough to stomp out Grizzlore, and I mean, debates aside, if you want to kind of go as far as to argue that or not, my whole thing was I wanted to kind of introduce new levels of destroyers, certain destroyers that could at least be able to contend with fusion. As a good example of that would be, you can't really compare Gogeta Blue from the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie to Beerus now, post-superhero, right? Power scaling, of course, that Gogeta essentially being weaker than a hypothetical Gogeta now, and things of that nature. So if you were to put Gogeta Blue back then against Beerus, it could be, I guess you could say, a contender-like fight. I guess you could either argue for Gogeta or Beerus. If you were to put Beerus up against Gogeta now, then I think Gogeta stomps Beerus out in the main continuity of Dragon Ball, right? But I wanted to kind of go as far as to have a destroyer be so strong that not even Blue was able to fully take him down. He was able to contend with him, so I kind of want to go as far as to argue to say that Gogeta Blue and Grizzlore are just about like the same, you know what I mean? And so, what is about to happen moving forward is essentially going to, I think, be very cool. It may not be everyone's cup of tea in terms of what I do, because I'm saving some stuff. I mentioned this during my update video, but everything's going to make sense down the line, especially for the top 5 strongest, because only then are you going to see, oh, he didn't do this in the previous story because he was saving it for this. So, Broly is going to come into his own. Give it time. Gogeta Blue and Grizzlore are even, so even if, let's just say, they're both at a destructive level, they're even. It was because of Broly that kind of resulted in Gogeta being sidetracked and kind of, you know, taken off guard for a second, but with what Jinray
came in throwing Chile ass around, that's why it's on the thumbnail.
Is, I think, something that is going to be really cool.
Shout out to New Cheeks.
I'm going to try to get this entire series hopefully around, or just around before maybe the summertime is over. So we'll see how that goes. The Myrno sequel's gonna be dropping. Dang, I believe at the end of next month, or sometime by the end of, or towards the end of next month. So that's gonna be cool. More details on that later. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, ask me. And with that being said, hope you guys have a great day. I'm tired of shit. I am exhausted. I'm gonna try to get some sleep. I'm working on several stories that I'm documenting to show you guys in the near future very soon. So God bless you. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.
Hello. Did you know that you can stay up to date with the latest Dragon Ball content by simply subscribing to Unrelent Gaming? Also, don't forget to follow on these social media platforms, you sexy son of a bitch. Roshi. Silent Cell. Me and the fans are having a moment. That's right. I know what you want. Extra long, thick Dragon Ball content. Quality reviews with flawless editing. Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? You dirty bitch. Roshi, the fuck? God damn it, I need them to subscribe, Cell. And we're demonetized. Yeah, screw it. Let's cut to the video.
Let's see what else I got in here.
Thousands of years of evolution cast it aside for a multitude of weaklings. Mighty Turnus, leave him to us. We expected more from all of you. You should have left my son out of this. Why don't you put your money where your mouth is?
Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the garden, by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay.
Shouts out to our video sponsors at DJ Is. Y'all know go check them out. This is on the channel at Is Beats. Hey, shouts out to having multiple channels because he got it going on over there with all that beats. Keep it popping. And remember, we're keeping it popping every week with Super Saturday, so come back, hit the thumbs up, whatever you gonna do. We don't give a fuck.
For you to stay in the garden, by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there till the morning light.
Get it for us now. No, we still moving.
Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the garden, by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there to the morning light. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the garden, by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there to the morning light.
Alright, hot dogs. I'll see y'all next week for Super Saturday. And if y'all got anything y'all want to review, leave it in the comments. We'll get to it. Other than that, I might have a couple videos this week. We'll see. You never know. It is Spider Pig. He is active.